Every minute, 3 engines die young just because their owners believe the handbook. Stick with me and you'll collect the 14 habits that push a family car beyond 500,000 miles and expose one myth that's silently shredding turbochargers. Quick challenge in the comments. Guess which single fluid change saves drivers the most money over a decade. I'll reveal the winner halfway through. Number 1. Oil. The 5,000-mile truth. Imagine a heart surgeon telling you to skip half your checkups. That's exactly what a 10,000-mile oil interval does to an engine, starving bearings while acids, soot, and silicon quietly thicken the lifeblood meant to protect them. By mile 70,000, varnish locks piston rings, sludge chokes oil passages, and turbo bearings spin in gritty syrup. One flicker of the low-pressure light and a $4,000 engine becomes scrap. Oil is cheap, engines aren't. Swap full synthetic oil every 5,000 miles or 6 months. $45 today beats $4,000 tomorrow. Chicago rideshare driver Elena logged every change on sticky notes. Her Camry just crossed 670,000 miles on its original block, and the notebook is now thicker than the owner's manual. Maintenance never disappears, it just hides. Number 2. Transmission fluid silent countdown. Would you swim laps in the same pool for 6 years without changing the water, letting sweat and sunscreen turn it cloudy, yet expect the razor-fine clutches inside your transmission to do the equivalent and survive? Fluid is both hydraulic muscle and coolant. Once its additives shear away, microscopic clutch dust floats like volcanic ash, turning bright red ATF into an abrasive slurry that slices pump veins, jams valve bodies, and ends in a $3,500 rebuild plus a tow. Clean fluid shifts confidence. Perform a drain and fill every 60,000 miles or 90,000 in hybrids using OEM fluid. -1 minutes in the driveway beats $3,500 at the shop. A Honda Master Tech keeps a jar of bronze sludge alongside fresh ATF on his bench. One whiff smells like strawberries, the other like burnt pennies, and even skeptics schedule service on the spot. Automakers brag about lifetime fills, but until they offer lifetime warranties, treat that word as marketing poetry. Number 3. Coolant turns acidic fast. Picture antifreeze that once glowed neon pink quietly morphing into acid, etching coolant passages like battery juice while your temperature gauge sits smugly at normal. After 5 relentless years of heat cycles, silicates drop out, pH dives, and the fluid's roll flips from guardian to predator. Water pump seals rot, heater cores clog, aluminum heads pit, and a stealth head gasket leak fogs your rearview before the $4,000 invoice lands. Acid never sleeps. Flush and refill with the specified coolant every 50,000 miles or 5 years. $120 in parts prevents $4,000 in carnage. Simple math, massive payoff. Toyota's latest super long life formula promises 100,000 miles. Yet, dealerships quietly recommend a mid-cycle drain. Chemistry may improve, but corrosion remains undefeated, and engineers admit hard water top-offs rewrite lab results in the real world. Number 4. Timing belts give no warning. I once towed a customer named Victor whose Civic died halfway up a mountain pass. The culprit was a $35 timing belt that snapped like dry spaghetti and left piston crowns kissing bent valves in utter silence. In interference engines' most modern 4 cylinders, the moment the belt loses a single tooth, combustion turns into a pinball game of metal on metal, and the repair bill rockets from $600 preventive service to $4,000 for a full head rebuild. Belts snap without mercy. Replace yours between 100 miles or every 7 to 10 years, whichever hits first, even if the odometer barely moves. Bundle the water pump, idler, and tensioner while the covers are off. Labor overlap makes it a one-and-done deal. Engineers predict chains will eventually dominate, but until your VIN says otherwise, assume your belt is stealth dynamite diffused only by a calendar reminder. Number 5. Spark plugs. Tiny parts, giant waste. Picture every ignition cycle as a perfectly timed fireworks show. Now imagine the fuse getting shorter and dimmer while fuel keeps pouring in. Warm plugs widen their gaps, force coils to work overtime, and leave unburned gasoline to roast catalytic converters at $900 a pop plus a 30% hit to MPG, small plugs, big losses. Swap iridium or platinum plugs every 600,100 miles, gapping them to spec and torquing with a dab of anti-seize on iron heads only. Watch for early tells, rough idle, hesitation, raw fuel smell, or a blinking MIL reporting P0300 series misfires. A fleet manager I know replaces plugs and oil change early. The math shows $180 in parts beats $1,200 in wasted fuel over 100,000 miles. Your wallet fires more efficiently to dot number 6, fuel filters, $40 versus $1,000. Think of the fuel filter as the bouncer for microscopic thugs rust flakes, sand, and polymer dust that would love to party inside your injectors. Let that bouncer clog, though, and the high-pressure pump works double shifts until it cooks itself, stranding you on the fast lane shoulder with a $1,000 tow and replacement tab. Fuel starves fast. Prevent the drama. Replace the filter every 300,600 miles. In-tank models stretch to 100,000 and always depressurize the system by pulling the pump fuse and running the engine dead. Cheap will-fit filters can collapse internally. Buy OE or a reputable aftermarket brand and orient the flow arrow correctly. One thin canister, 5 wrenches, 20 minutes, then your injectors sip clean gasoline instead of sludge. Your pump will thank you at mile 300,000. Number 7. Brake fluid boils literally. Picture yourself cresting a downhill switchback when the pedal suddenly feels like stepping on a wet sponge. Traffic looms, adrenaline spikes, and all that stops to tons of steel is fluid thinner than coffee. Brake fluid is hygroscopic. It drinks water from humid air until its boiling point plummets from 401 degrees Fahrenheit to barely 284 degrees Fahrenheit. Hit one hard stop, the moisture flashes into steam, and your pedal sinks to the floor while rotors glow red. A $25 flush could have saved your $25,000 car or your life. Stop or pay. Test with a $20 moisture probe every oil change. If the reading tops 3%, bleed and refill with fresh .-3 or .-4. Spend 20 minutes, purge for corners, and you buy 2 more years of confident braking, your future self, coasting. Home safe. We'll never know what disaster you dodged, but that's the whole point. If these first 7 habits make sense, hit subscribe and drop your guess below. Which single fluid neglects the most wallets each year? Oil, ATF, coolant, or brake fluid? I'll reveal the answer in a minute. Let's keep chasing that 500,000-mile goal together. Number 8. Differentials drink thick oil. When was the last time you checked the gear oil hiding in that pumpkin-shaped housing between your wheels? Every tight turn shears its additives. Metal shavings swirl in 150 degrees Celsius sludge, and bearings begin singing a wallet-shrinking chorus you can barely hear until they fail in a roadside puff of smoke. Off-roaders call it liquid glitter, a death sentence paste that turns a $70 service into a $1,700 ring and pinion rebuild. Gear oil is cheap insurance. Drain and refill your differential and transfer case if you're a WD every 30,000 to 50,000 miles with OEM spec fluid. 6 bolts, $110 pump, and fresh 75W90 buys silent corners and rock-solid traction for another decade. Heavy oil, heavy cost, only if you ignore it. Number 9. MAF sensors choke on dust. A customer once limped into the shop convinced his engine was dying rough idle, stalling at lights, MPG in free fall. 10 minutes later, we popped the mass airflow sensor, sprayed away a velvet coat of filter oil and road dust, and the car purred like new. That $9 can of MAF cleaner saved him a $240 part and an unnecessary injector flush. Over time, grime tricks the sensor's hot wire into reading less air, so the ECU dumps extra fuel torsion cats and thinning your wallet. Clean sensor, clear performance, every 15,000 miles or whenever you swap the air filter and plug the MAF. Give it 5 gentle blasts of sensor-safe spray, let it air dry, then snap it back in. No brake cleaner, no WD-40, no Q-tips. A 5-minute ritual keeps combustion razor sharp, your fuel gauge steady. Number 10. PCV, the $15 pressure valve. What happens when a $15 valve clogs your entire engine? Crankcase vapors that should glide back through the intake slam into a stuck PCV valve, building pressure like a soda bottle left out in summer heat. Gaskets bulge, camshaft seals weep, and blue smoke begins ghosting out the tailpipe. Every quart of oil burned is money and lubrication literally up in flames. A single blown rear main seal means the transmission must drop, turning a pocket change part into a $1,200 repair. Cheap valve, costly leak, swap the PCV every 30 to 50,000 miles. Twist the old one free, inspect its ping-back rattle, and snap in a fresh unit with a dab of hose clamp confidence. While you're there, run a finger along the vent hose. If it's soft or cracked, replace it too. 5 minutes, 2 tools, 0 drama. Future trend? Variable flow PCVs tied to boost sensors on direct injection turbos, but they still clog. Stay ahead of the sludge and breathe easy. Number 11. Alignment. Tires whisper before they scream. You merge onto the freeway and feel a gentle tug left barely noticeable, yet by the next fill-up the inner shoulder of each tire is shaved. Silky smooth, steel belts winking through rubber like exposed bone. That subtle misalignment can erase 30% of tread life and drain up to 10% of fuel efficiency, sneaking $600 in tires and $200 in gas from your budget while you daydream about weekend plans. Uneven wear equals unpaid rent. Schedule a 4-wheel alignment every 15,000 miles after suspension work or the moment your steering wheel sits crooked. A laser rack and a patient tech can rescore camber, caster, and tow in under an hour, about $90. Combine it with a tire rotation and you extend tread life by years. Pro tip: snap a tread depth photo when new. Compare at each oil change. The picture never lies and the whisper stays a whisper. Number 12. Cold revving murders turbos. Cold oil is syrup, not speed. At 5 degrees Celsius, a 5W30 flows 2,000% slower than at operating temp, yet pistons still sprint, bearings still spin, and turbochargers can reach 150,000 revolutions per minute within seconds of ignition. Revving past 3,000 revolutions per minute before the oil thins is like sprinting barefoot on black ice. Lots of movement, zero protection. Industry studies trace 9 of 10 early turbo failures to poor warm-up habits, seized thrust bearings, coked-up oil lines, shattered compressor wheels. Warm oil wins, idle 30 to 60 seconds, then keep revs gentle until the coolant temp climbs or the blue cold lamp clicks off. Live in sub-zero climates. A block heater slashes warm-up time and fuel dilution. Old school myth says let it idle 10 minutes. Modern EQs run richer at idle, washing rings and wasting fuel. The golden rule: short idle, soft throttle. Your turbo will sing for hundreds of thousands of miles instead of screaming its last. Number 13. Salt is slow. Acid. A January night, to centimeters of road brine, and the underbelly of your car looks like it just swam in seawater. Chloride crystals wedge into weld seams, then invite moisture to the party all spring. Within one winter, uncoated brake lines lose 30% of wall thickness. By year 3, a sudden panic stop pops a rusty pinhole that hydraulic fluid sprays onto sizzling rotors. No pedal, no plan, just terror. Rust never sleeps. Pressure wash the undercarriage at least once each season. Never for weeks if you drive salted roads and pay extra attention to frame rails, suspension pickup points, and fuel tank straps. A $12 high-pressure one beats a $2,800 frame patch and the insurance write-off that follows. Dual-fact punch. Steel corrodes 7 times faster in brine, yet a 5-minute rinse adds years. Rust-proof shops report that cars treated then cleaned retain 15% higher resale. Heavy winter, wash monthly. Light winter, wash anyway. Short line. Wash away winter. Number 14. The mighty maintenance log. Back when I turned wrenches full-time, a gray-haired teacher rolled in with a dog-eared notebook thicker than a Tolstoy novel. Every oil change, filter, bulb, and torque spec since 1997 lived in its margins. We diagnosed a faint coolant loss in seconds by scanning her notes. Last flush 48K ago. Top-ups every 1,000 miles began 2 months prior. Head gasket leak caught early. $180 stopgap sealant. No $3,800 teardown. Paper remembers, people forget. Grab a $2 quad-ruled pad or a free phone app and record date, mileage, part, and brand for every service. Flag trends, oil top-ups tightening, tire wear patterns, voltage drops. Buyers love proof. One used car study shows documented vehicles sell 8 days faster to earn 12% more. Teaser, blockchain-based logs are coming, locking tamper-proof histories to every VIN. Action step. After this video, log your last 3 services. Momentum starts with 1 line. Short sentence, ink boosts value. 14 habits. 1 mission. Push a humble commuter past 500,000 miles while your wallet stays calm. Oil on schedule, fluids refreshed, belt swapped, sensor spotless, rust banished, and every tweak tracked in ink compounding reliability like interest. Next episode, we'll dissect the hidden coolant system assassin most manuals skip and reveal a 5-minute test that could save you thousands. Hit subscribe now, queue up the next video on the end screen, and keep those wheels and records turning. Not professional advice. Consult a qualified mechanic for your specific vehicle.